Welcome to my video about scanning for stocks that are hitting all-time highs, but specifically large cap stocks hitting all-time highs. The reason why I'm making this video about large cap stocks is because it is a very interesting area of the market to play in. Large cap stocks have a large trading volumes, have large market caps, and thus they can soak up more money from large funds. If you worked at Fidelity and had a fund with $100 billion under management, you're going to need to go find some large cap companies to deploy that to. So this scan is meant to find large cap stocks hitting all-time highs that these funds might be deploying money to. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure I'm looking at my US equities. So you can see here, drop down, I've got US listed. So these are US stocks. Now, if I was based in another part of the world beyond New York City, maybe I would have that country or global assets listed. But being here in NYC, I just want to look at US listed stocks. By the way, I'm on the TradingView stock screener, so you can see that here, their nice logo, stock screener. But also, you can take these concepts as you need and apply it to other situations or analysis as you see fit. But I've got the basics now. So I've got over 13,000 stocks right here. How the heck am I going to find the all-time highs in this list? But more importantly, the large cap all-time highs. Well, you're going to sit back in your chair and watch this because it's actually not nearly as hard as you think. Okay, so I'm going to click this plus sign because I need to add a little something called market cap or market capitalization. Market cap is a way of seeing how large a company is. You multiply all the shares outstanding times the current price and you get a market cap. So if you were to buy all the shares outstanding at a certain price, that's how much the company is worth, theoretically. Now for this video, I'm going to do $10 billion and above. I want to know what companies are worth 10 billion or more and at all-time highs. But of course, depending on how you see fit, maybe 2 billion, maybe over 200 billion, so just mega cap companies, but I like 10 billion. And the reason for that is that this list is going to get narrowed down. And if I do 10 billion and above, I'm just going to include more stocks in my scan. So I'm going to do 10 billion above. That seems large enough for me. So now I'm down to 1,948 stocks on this list. Well, the next aspect here is I need to find all of the stocks on this list that are hitting all-time highs. Now remember, if something is hitting an all-time high, clearly it's doing something right. Stocks just don't hit all-time highs for no reason. They do it because they might be growing, they're more profitable, there's buyers coming in, there's a story to tell, there's large investor interest, and because we are looking at this $10 billion market cap, we know there is significant money being invested into it just to get it to an all-time high in the first place. So I'm just going to search for a keyword high. I've got some options here. I'm going to click new high. I can work with that. So I've got new high here. Click this drop down. And there it is, all time. So now I can click this to get all time high. I could look at 52-week highs or 6-month highs, but all time high is definitely where the magic is at for this specific video. And I'm going to explain why, but by the way, we're down to 90 symbols. So we just whittled this down from over 13,000 symbols to 90 symbols that are worth $10 billion or more and are currently at an all-time high. So something is going on with these 90 symbols. They're at all-time highs. They're worth more than 10 billion. There is serious money being plowed into these symbols. Now, another important thing about this as well, because we've got this market cap here at 10 billion though, is we need to make sure we are looking at companies with specific debt to cash and asset ratios. Now, there is something called the quick ratio. This is so important to me right here, quick ratio. I'm going to add that to this scan. It's set to quarterly, so I'm just going to use the last quarters. That's fine. You can use other yearly reports or any other data set you have. I'm also going to click this quick ratio drop down. I'm going to do 1 and above. A quick ratio is so important for this scan because you want to only look at companies hitting all-time highs that have more cash and assets than their liabilities and possibly debt. You don't want to potentially get involved in a company that has a lot of debt. Maybe you missed something. Yes, it might be at all-time highs, but I have found time and time again that companies with debt pose significant challenges to an investor. And most people don't figure that out until they're too deep into the investment and perhaps down on it. So a quick ratio of 1 and above means they, at minimum, have a specific amount of cash and assets to cover all of their liabilities. It's 1 to 1. Now, if you want to be safe, well, you could do 2 and above or 3 and above. Let's see. There's only 8 companies with 3 and above. And quite frankly, I've only heard of one of these companies, Kava. So that kind of, maybe there's a data error. Like that's another thing you want to pay close attention to when you see things like that. There might be some data errors here. So you want to look into these companies in detail. I'm just going to go to 1 and above. I can still look into those companies. Now we're at 34 symbols. So we've gone from 13,000 plus symbols to 34. And the best part is this is a market cap of 10 billion or more, hitting an all-time high right now at the time of recording this video, and have a quick ratio of 1. So let's talk about a few key things now. All-time high. Okay, the company's at an all-time high, but we do now need to set this screen to understand its year-to-date performance, because this is the next important aspect of finding a trade or an investment in this list. And by the way, I need to make sure I just say this over and over again. This all-time high study, or this concept of companies hitting all-time highs, has really been looked into quite a bit. Some people call it momentum investing, where winners get bigger, right? Apple was hitting all-time highs in 2012. And it kept hitting all-time highs into 2024. So winners get bigger. They're often doing something right. There's some sort of trend behind them. There's money backing them. It's the concept of backing winners. It's as simple as that. But you want to make sure you're looking at the all-time high in the concept of its year-to-date performance, because it is August of 2024. But remember, if it was January or February, I would probably then go to 1-year performance, so I could see how it was performing over the last 12 months. But it's August, we're already 8 months into the year. But now it's important to remember that fund managers are starting to track their year-to-date performance. This is how they get investors, by the way. They go around with their brochures. I returned 50% in 2024. I returned 35%, 70%. This is how they get more capital. So we've got our large cap winners here, all-time highs, with a quick ratio that's at 1. And now we can see their year-to-date performance. We've got 34 symbols here. This is where things get rather exciting, because now you can look through this list and decide which one of these companies makes the most sense to you to go deeper on. Now, this is ultimately in your hands, because this list is going to change depending on when you watch this video. It is August 22nd, 2024. I don't know if this list will be the same even tomorrow. There'll be new companies hitting all-time highs or new companies that aren't hitting all-time highs. But the point is, we've got this list right here in front of our eyes for today's scan. And just by doing this, we can get a sense of some companies that might be of interest. So what we've got here is Kava. Let's see if we see any others. Meta, Facebook, very interesting. Intuitive Surgical, Coca-Cola Consolidated, SAP, Ferrari. Now that is just fascinating. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to open up these charts. Let's open up Ferrari. Let's also open up Meta. And why don't we also find one that looks interesting, but we want to learn a little bit more about? How about for the international aspect and staying at SAP? Let's see what's going on with SAP. So now we've got the pages open, and now we can do some additional analysis to figure out if these are right for us. So the first thing we're going to want to look into is an about section. Who are they? Is it the right company? Is it the right ticker symbol? I can't tell you how many people think they found a company that makes sense to them, but then it turns out to be the complete wrong symbol. They just sort of mix the symbols up or the names up. So confirm it. This is indeed Ferrari, the car company. Let's see, Meta. That's their logo, so we know that. And let's see if we can get to our about section here. Meta Platforms. Yep, there it is, Meta. And SAP. Well, already I've just found something fascinating. This is on OTC. I only want to trade NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange, so I'm just going to remove this one from my list. But the point here is that this is the starting point to doing this scan to find all-time highs each day. You can really find some interesting companies by doing this. And even more interesting, you may find some companies you've never heard of. So this company is called Tempus AI. And it is up 10, it's market cap over 10 billion. It's hitting all-time highs. I've never heard of this. It's on the NASDAQ. Trades at $65 a share. This is well worth looking into. and it looks like it was a recent IPO. It was indeed. So now I know it was a recent IPO, and I know that because its last trading history was on June 2024. So now we are starting the research process. But remember, the point of this video was just to show you how to construct a scan showing large cap stocks hitting new all-time highs with a quick ratio of 1, trading in a specific region of the world that applies to you, all while getting an understanding of the context of that performance on a year-to-date basis or a yearly basis, and then knowing how to look into that company to confirm it's the one you thought it was, or to learn about something new and to decide whether that is for you. So this video was an introduction to get you started. And in my future videos and playlists, I'll show you how to dive deeper. But at minimum, you have just learned how to construct a basic scan to find all-time highs each day as you see fit at a specific market cap with a quick ratio and a location that suits your needs. More videos on the way. And as you know, I've been an individual investor my entire life. I manage my own money. Every decision I make impacts my account. I have true skin in the game. So this is me just sharing my insights freely with the world, and I hope it helps.